Hello, it is 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition, and for tonight's headlines we have celebrations of Eid al-Kabir. President of the Republic take part in the great collective prayer. Several other sites of the capital, including Guled Stadium, fitted out for the occasion, also hosted the Eid al-Kabir prayer. Several hundreds of the faithful gathered together to pray together on this day of the Eid al-Adha. Recall that the Eid al-Adha, that the feast of sacrifices, commemorate the right imposed by God, the creators of the patriarchs Abraham, to the sacrifice his son Ismail. At the moment when the prophet Abraham was about to sacrifice his son, the Creator sent down from the skies a sheep for the sacrifices. So it is customary during the Hajj period to sacrifice at least one sheep just after the high prayers of the Eid.
الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى. الله أكبر. الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم.
For the great phobia of Balbala, the thrusters have carried out the prayers of the Eid al-Adha in 7 sites adjacent to the filed Jama' Awlad, the filed ground, and the mosque's coastal ground of the Bawako. Other sites have also the dawns for the thrusters in Dogle Hodan and also on the ground at Pekka 12. Early in the morning, population converted to receiving Eid Takbir in their premises. The Imam have highlighted the importance of the religious festival that works after the premise of the month Arafat, which is the main rites of the pilgrimage that added this year's more than 2 million of pilgrims, including 15,000 Egyptians. In this speech, the Somalian language, the President of the Republic thanks the good goods for making our country a land of peace. The Egyptians love their country, whose frontiers are including between Dumera and Luada that we defend. The head of the state had affirmed the will of the Egyptian people, who is willing to host in the dignities all the foreign peoples who want to live in harmony with us. They must respect their host countries, and we should prospect them for them that we will be in peace and peace of peace. We are faced of the consolidations of the shattered relations at the regional levels. We Egyptians will love and protect our country while pushing peace all over of the area. Today, in terms of economic policy and democracy, the Republic of Djibouti has nothing of every from its African peers and other countries of the world. The head of state stressed the importance of the unity and peaceful coexistence in the Djibouti between the different sections of the population that help it build a strong nation and meet the challenges of the development. After the prayers of Eid al-Adha this morning at the Outlet Fields, the President of the Republic, Ismail Margele, and the First Lady, Hadra Mohammed Haid, have officially received the President's, in the President's garden. The officials of the country, which the President of the National Assembly, Mr. Muhammad Ali Ahmed, The member of the government participate in the ceremony, which was by the grounds of national artists, all of communities confused, the high military and customer civilians responsible were present at Habit, the diplomators accredited in Djibouti, to representative of the international organization and the Djiboutian civil society were also participating in the ceremony.
Kasoo gudubnayo soo dhaafnay surimadiyadka dadka wada jir la wadaagayo qaranimo sadkeed buu samaa loo saxabinayaade sodonkii kasoo gudubnayo soo dhaafnay surimadiyadka Djibouti يسدقده وقتك كساعنا يسدقده وطلع وحدنا سوا يسودقده لا تركنوا ما أقبل يسودقده صفرون Djibouti يسدقده وقتك كساعنا يسدقده وطلع وحدنا سوا يسودقده لا تركنوا ما أقبل يسودقده لا تركن صاحبي إسماعيل وكعي فلك يا دلالكي بنا سليكو دخولكو نغضو سامنا كارسيه ساتركن ما إلو كيسيه صاحبي إسماعيل وكعي فلك يا دلالكي بنا سليكو دخولكو نغضو سامنا كارسيه Martina Soria in giro, Samir Bandaloino, Sumata Doroiki, Martina Soria in giro, Samir Bandaloino. Davan Barwaka, Luko, Samoli Madilaga Bahye, Samakuno Rao, Samakuli Laidama. Samakuno Rao, Samakuli Laidama. Sumata Doroiki, Martina Soria in giro, Samir Bandaloino. 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 Saban Barwaka, Urko, Sabani Madilaga Bahye, Samakuno Rao, Samakuli Laidama. صفرون Djibouti يسدقده وقتك كساعنا يسدقده كمان برواقع برضو صبرني مدلقة بحيه صفرون Djibouti يسدقده وقتك كساعنا يسدقده كمان برواقع برضو صبرني مدلقة بحيه سمكو نورا سمكو عيدي دما
أبقيلو كل مهدي
إسماعيل عمر قيلو شوينغا عبي قيلو شوادي والضروريو قيس برواقو قاجة تيريو قيلو أبا قيلو كل مهدي إسماعيل عمر قيلو شوينغا عبه قيلو شوادي والضروريو قيس برواقو قاجة تيريو أدي كيلو بشو كبيجن أدي كيلو كبريوين أدي كيلو ويا كعارية أدي كيلو عبقيسية أدي كيلو إيدي قرب كاغا جوغاني إيدي قرب كاغا جوغاني إيدي قرب كاغا جوغاني إيدي قرب كاغا جوغاني أدي كيلو بشو كبيجن أدي كيلو كبريوين أدي كيلو ويا كعارية أدي كيلو عبقيسية أدي كيلو إيدين قرب كاغا جوغاني إيدين قرب كاغا جوغاني إيدين قرب كاغا جوغاني إيدين قرب كاغا جوغاني قرات وحب ولدليو عبا قرشيو قرقر ويلو عبا قمديو قرشان أدلو أدان قرب كاغا جوغناي أدان قرب كاغا جوغناي أدان قرب كاغا جوغناي أدان قرب كاغا جوغناي قراتو حب ولدليو عبا قرشيو قرقر ويلو.
The President of the Republic took the floor and wished all Muslims around the world happy Eid festivity. Listen to this report, please.
It is always a great happiness and joy that I send to you my best wishes for this Eid al-Adha. First of all, I thank the Almighty who allow us to meet once again to celebrate this feast with joy. On this day, for all Muslims around the world, we have an effective and fraternal thought for those of us who have gone on their pilgrimage. We pray the Almighty to exalt all their vows. My fellow citizens, this day also serves as an opportunity to remind and revive our Islamic values, values of sharing and solidarity, but also values of compassion and humility. That is why on this blessed day we share them first with our fellow citizens who live in deprived situation, but also those who are weakened by disease. The spirit of sacrifice of this Eid al-Adha must imbue our national consciousness and find ourselves in the duty of mutual in order to strengthen ties. The spirit of sacrifice must rub off our egos and selfish interest for the benefit of the collective and the national interest. My fellow countrymen, our country is doing well. This gives us a lot of reasons to be optimistic about its future. The reform we have begun a long time ago, and today we bearing its fruit. The vast project of our structural reforms, but also the permanent financing of the infrastructures as the recent inaugurations of the biggest free zones complex in Africa aims to accelerate the growth, to reduce the unemployment, to better integrate our country into the global economy, but also to make economic development sustainable, social and inclusive. The country is more than ever equipped to serve as a pivotal for the regional economic integration. All the major structuring investments we have made in recent years converge toward this ambition to become a platform serving the economic development of the entire region. The first result encouraged us to persevere on this path. Thanks to these infrastructures in the fields of port-free zones and even telecommunication, Our country has found a place in the world trade exchanges. Thanks to our effort, we have become a vital link into the globalization of the economy, but also the regional integration. Our unity, security, stability have unquestionably allowed us to accumulate assets and achievements that contribute to the development of our beloved country. The current upturn of our economy, ranked among the top 10 growth rates in Africa, make us optimistic about our future. A competitive economy, an inclusive economy, and a diversified economy. This will be the triptych on which we will base future reforms so that the economy performance of our country will be perpetuated and will have an even greater impact on social development.
Continuing the head of state at the international levels indicate the different political changements in the regions of the Eastern Africa. More details with the report.
Fellow citizens, on this blessed day, a day of celebration and family reunion, we cannot but have a thought for all of those around the world who are victims of tragedies. I think in the first place of the brotherly people from Palestine. These people, victims of colonization and occupation, are still trapped in their dignity despite the indifference and cynicism from the international community. That is why we call for the end of this humiliation and the establishment of two-state Palestinian and Israeli living in peace side by side as advocated by the UN resolutions. On this day, my fellow citizens, our thought also go to the Syrian people. These people caught up in the shackles of interest beyond them do not deserve the fate reserved for them. We call for the final cessation of hostilities and the return of the Syrian refugees to their homeland. Our thought also go to the brotherly people from Yemen who are suffering tremendously because of a rebellion armed by foreign powers. The people and government of the Republic of Djibouti will continue to welcome their Yemeni brothers and sisters forced into exile. On this celebration, let us hope that the Islamic community throughout the world will live in peace and tolerance. Let us hope that our nation will remain faithful to Islamic values of sharing and solidarity.
And to finish, the head of state, Anglais, has explained little important thing in his speech in the Somali language. More details with Said Mohammed.
Are between Dumera and Loya Adda, and that they will defend, said the President. The head of state affirmed that the will of the Djiboutian people who are willing to welcome in dignity all foreign people who want to live in peace. They must respect their host country, said the President. We must protect them so that they live in peace and tranquility with us. We are at the forefront of consolidating fraternal relations at the regional level, said the President. We Djiboutians will love and protect our country while advocating peace throughout the region. Today, in terms of economic policy and democracy, the Republic of Djibouti has nothing to envy to its African peers and other countries of the world, said the head of state. The President stressed the importance of unity and peaceful cohesion in the country between the population that has helped to build a strong nation and meet the challenge of developments. And finally, the head of state has urged the national population to do their part of duty for the progress and the growth of the country.
In an interview with the press, the Ministers of Islamic Affairs, Cultures and Endowment, Mr. Momin Hassan Barre, stressed the importance of the occasions of the Eid al-Adha, which is the festival of sacrifices, as well as Eid al-Fitr, as confirmed by the preachers. He took the opportunity to congratulate the President of the Republic, Anglais, and the people of Djibouti, assuming that God will perpetuate the security and stability of our country and the region. Let us remember that this feast, which commemorates the memory of Abraham's and marks the end of the period of the pilgrimage to Mecca. The President of the Republic continues to receive messages of the best wishes from the Eid al-Adha from his Muslim counterpart around the world. Messages of the best wishes from Eid al-Adha emanate from the head of state and governments of Arab and Muslim countries, including the leaders of the Gulf countries headed by the King of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Majesty Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, continue to flock to the presidency of the Republic. In his message, the guardians of the two holy mosques wishes health and happiness to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Magelle, and more progress, prosperity, and fulfillment to the people of Djibouti. May God Almighty continues to surround the Republic of Djibouti with its barakah and blessings so that it can pursue its progress in the path of the sustainable development, said the King of the Saudi Brothers Kingdom. Similar messages from the head of state and government of the African and Asian country also reached the President of the Republic. Some of these leaders hope to see the Republic of Djibouti remains irreversible in what characterizes it most in this part of the world, in this case a haven of peace, harmony between all of these fellow citizens. It is worth remembering that the President Ismail Magelle also had on occasions of Eid al-Adha sent greetings to his Muslim head of state and government around the world. In addition to wish for success to each of these leaders, he also wishes more well-being and fulfillment to their respective peoples. It should also be noted that his messages to Muslim leaders around the world, and he had hoped for the realizations of a greater realizations and rapprochement between the different cultural, religious civilizations of the world. May God the mercy accept our prayers to see the world evolve into the space where disparity and perceived mass as factors of tension, but also positive sources of complementarity, he wrote in substances. Like the rest of the Muslims world, Djibouti celebrates Tuesday, August 23, Eid al-Adha. Eid al-Adha on the festivals of the sacrifices in the Muslims world. In general, we celebrate as usual in the city of Djibouti and in the playground the children and the youngest have dressed themselves in the new clothes accompanied by their parents, combined and the games and several others. The times of Eid al-Adha in Djibouti becomes the kingdom of children dressed in a new clothes. Girls and boys storm the playground under the benevolent gazes of the adults escorting them. The times of Eid al-Adha Djibouti becomes the kingdom of children dressed in the clothes girls. And this festivity day was marked by a good mood, considering these fraternal embraces exchanged by the Djiboutian crossed here and there in the capital. Eid al-Adha, commonly called Eid al-Kabir, the big festival, is one of the most important festivals of the Muslims calendar. It marks the end of the pilgrimage to Mecca each year and takes place on the 10th of the month of Dhul Hijjah. After the gatherings of the faithful of month, Eid al-Adha especially commemorates the submissions of the Prophet Ibrahim to God, symbolizing the episode where he agreed to slaughter his son Ismail on the divine orders Allah sent him at the last moment. A sheep through the Archangel Gabriel to replace the child as a sacrificial offering. On the occasions of the Eid al-Adha, the different CDC of the capital organizes a fair. Many young people have joined in the presence of the acting directors, Mr. Ahmed Ali. For the occasions, the young people of the district wish to participate in the various games of animation organized at the CDC. The acting director, Mr. Ahmed Ali, sent Happy New Year's greetings to all Djiboutians and congratulated all the organizers of the fair in all the CDC of the Republic. He encouraged the various community councils of the CDC to continue the activities of this kind, always with the aims of keeping youth away from drug and other juvenile delinquencies. On August 21 Saturday at 11 a.m. a fatal tragic accident occurred on the way down from the place called Inadirir. This is a Nissan Patrol's brand vehicles with the 4 passengers on board, including the drivers from the Picas 51s heading toward Djibouti. Arriving at the descent of the Inadirir, the driver loses control of his vehicle and leaves the road to the right of his direction by ramming several barrels before coming to rest on his 4 wheels. The accident claims the lives of 3 people, including the drivers of the one seriously injured who was evacuated in the General Peltier Hospital by the SMERS ambulances. The operations of the finding were carried out by the gendarmes of the PK 12 Road Safety Brigade. The Gendarmerie High Command reminded motorists that speeding is the main causes of the fatal accident on our roads outside the urban area. In this sense, users are asked to respect the speed limit of the 16 km/h and to fasten to seat belt in order to preserve their lives and those of the others. We have others obituaries released. RTD has just lost one of its best elements with the disappearance of the late Ismail Ayali Ahmed Jama, cameraman of the Audio Visuals Production Center of the RTD. Ismail Ayali Ahmed died last night at 22 years after a very short stay at Peltier General Hospital. Listen to this report, please.
Just lost one of its best elements with the disappearance of the late Ismail Ayali Ahmed Jama, cameraman at the Audiovisual Production Center of the RTD. Ismail Ayali Ahmed died last night at 23 hours after a very short stay at Peltier General Hospital. Struggling for 2 days between life and death, Ismail Ayali will finally be reminded of God on its blessed day of Eid al-Adha, after kidney complication that will have him right. Young single 39 years old, Ismail Ayali was employed at the RTD as a cameraman since 2020. 6 years that will have been enough for Ismail Ayali to flourish, to form and conquer the heart of all his colleagues and who gave him an esteem and exceptional respect. He was appreciated for his modesty and kindness. Faced with his painful and brutal disappearance, all the staff of the RTD is still under the shock of this disappearance. Unite with the pain of the family and relatives of the deceased Ismail Ayali, they all pray mercifully to have pity on his soul and to welcome him into his eternal paradise. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
Concerning the international scenes, Muslims celebrate Eid al-Adha, the feast of the sacrifices. Muslims have been celebrating the first day of the Eid al-Adha, which marks the end of the Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca in Saudi Arabia. Listen to this report.
We have been celebrating the first day of Eid al-Adha, which marks the end of the Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca in Saudi Arabia. Traditional sheep are slaughtered during the 3-day festival, a tribute to the Prophet Ibrahim's sacrifice of lamb after God separated Ismail his son. They will consume some of the meat and give the rest to the poor. Muslim believer Ibrahim's faith was tested when God commanded him to sacrifice his only son. A version of the story also appears in the Christian Bible and Jewish Torah. Among the pilgrims visiting Mount Arafah, where they believe the Prophet Muhammad gave his last sermon. And on Tuesday, the 2.4 million pilgrims from 165 countries walked to the complex at Jamarat to perform a ritual.
The center on Monday declared the Kerala flood as a calamity of severe natures. Listen to this report.
Continue even as rain provided airspeed from a weaker land pattern in the state of Kerala. the center, while calling Kerala falls a calamity of a severe nature, exempted by the customs duty on the GST on goods supply for Kerala relief operations. Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan said that almost 1 million people have been displaced and about 317 have lost lives due to the rainfall over the past week. And while help has been pouring in from across the country and from friendly nations such as Japan and Maldives, one of the most critical challenges in front of Kerala.
This is it for tonight news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.